In this week's thrilling episode of Naruto Shippuden, Obito makes the ultimate sacrificial play as he decides to save his newfound friends Naruto and Sasuke from the evil clutches of Kaguya. 99% of the time in the Naruto series, when a character gets a lot of flashbacks, it's like a big red flag for the fact that they're about to be killed or they're going to die. And that's exactly what happens in this week's episode of Naruto Shippuden, as we are treated to an extended flashback of Obito and his life, how he met Kakashi, how he met Rin, his close connection to all of them, him becoming a Chunin, eventually becoming one of the pseudo-leaders of the Akatsuki, and leading up to the events where he is now, where he finally has the opportunity to make up for all of his wrongful deeds in the past. He can actually help out Naruto, Sasuke, Kakashi, and Sakura against their big battle against the very evil Kaguya. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of flashbacks. I think they do have a place in series, and usually the flashbacks of stuff that you haven't seen before, some pretty important stuff. And we do get to see some of that in this episode right here. Hell, I actually really enjoyed the small backstory of Obito trying to go through the Chunin exams, where the first time around he failed because he got his ass handed to him by Might Guy, which was a pretty satisfying scene. Not to mention, we also got a great sparring match between Kakashi and Obito when they were in the academy, but really it's just more of the same stuff that we've seen from Obito before. The fact that he's completely obsessed with Rin, that Rin seems to have some sort of feelings for both him and Kakashi, and she always looks over Obito. Even with his big dream to become the Hokage, she will be a constant stalking-like shadow, which I do think is kind of strange in some senses, but still, it was a nice scene to say the least. Although, like I said, while watching it, especially for those who do not read the manga version, you're just going to be saying to yourself, I wonder when Obito's going to die. And that leads us to what is probably the most exciting parts of this episode, when we finally go back to the battle between Naruto and Kaguya. Now, Kaguya and Black Zetsu seem like they have Naruto's abilities figured out. They feel that the truth-seeking balls that are surrounding Naruto is actually the real one and not exactly a clone. So she's attacking these clones just left and right with her ash bone abilities. And there are a few scenes in this episode which look really fantastic, where all of Naruto's clones are trying to attack her from multiple angles, but she's just spinning around, stabbing them in multiple directions, attacking in a lot of different really cool ways. I really appreciated that scene. More of that, please. More of that amazing, fluid action. I was a little disappointed in the first half of the episode because it looked like she was basically just sort of poking or love-tapping Naruto, but when they finally got to that scene, it was really impressive. And apparently, that's not the case, that as long as that Naruto has those truth-seeking orbs, that he's going to be the real one. He can actually move them to various clones, and they use this to end up tricking Kaguya, and this forces her to use one of her trump card abilities, where she sends all of them, including herself, to another dimension, which is that weird one which has all of those weird spiky green tiles all over the floor, and it's this gravity dimension, where everything is just pushed down with the extreme force of the gravity, including Kaguya herself, which is going to make her attacks a little difficult to pull off. She tries to shoot her ash bones at Naruto and Sasuke, and they're able to dodge them once, but after that she's able to compensate for the power of the gravity, and that's when Kakashi and Obito have to step in, and they're going to make this big sacrificial play where they're going to jump in the way and get hit by a big attack. This is where I think the most important part of the episode took place, and the part of the episode that honestly made me a little misty-eyed. The scene where they're both running towards Naruto and Sasuke, and right as they're about to get in the way of the attack, suddenly they're stopped when they see this ghostly image of Rin, who's holding on to their hands, and something about that scene just really hit me right here. It really showed how strong the relationship was between these three characters, and to make things even more teary-eyed, as these ash bones are getting ready to collide into Kakashi and Obito's body, Obito takes one of them, and then he uses his Kamui ability to get rid of the one that's going to hit Kakashi, leaving him alive, telling his friend that he wants him to stay around a little bit longer to look over his brand new ninja friends. It just brings a tear to my eye just thinking about it. So what's the rundown on this week's episode of Naruto Shippuden? Another fantastic story episode of Naruto Shippuden, which, yes, was bogged down by about 17 minutes of pure frickin' flashbacks, but honestly, it did a great job of, building up that scene at the end when Obito was going to make that big sacrificial play. It's a really important moment for the character. Really, he's sort of come full circle at that moment, and it's made me appreciate him all the bit more. And I did like some of the flashback sequences that they did show, just seeing how things were different in the past, how he could have possibly changed things if he'd have just gone down a completely different route, but unfortunately, he was manipulated by Black Zetsu and all that other Kaguya crazy shit. That being said, the other scenes that were great in this episode, of course, was the Naruto fighting against Kaguya scenes. Those are all really impressive. And I especially love this episode because it's also going to be a build-up for Kakashi as well, because he's not going to be completely useless in this battle, despite the fact that he does not have his Sharingan anymore. Avid manga readers know what I'm talking about, and for those who are just watching the anime version, just stick around. It's going to be freaking impressive. It's a moment that I am really waiting for, and I cannot wait to see it in action. And there was also a scene at the very beginning of the episode with the Sage of the Six Paths continuing to work with the other Kages as they get this big plan. When Naruto and Sasuke are going to come back, they're going to try and get rid of Kaguya, but it's going to require a lot of chakra on their part. Basically just more build-up to seeing them do something later on. But really, this episode's full focus was on Obito and the fact that he went from a hero to a villain, and back to a hero again. And it's a really nice story, if a little cliched at parts. Still, I think it was really effective in this episode, and it's good to note that this episode at least had some good animation, some artwork, some really heartfelt moments, and some cool kick-ass ninja action, which is exactly what we want from the Naruto series. So I'm going to give this episode right here a 4 out of 5. The only reason I'm dropping it down just a little bit is because I just didn't want the flashbacks to take up that much of the episode. I wanted them to go that much quicker, especially because it's very similar to a lot of the Obito flashbacks that we've seen in the past, but they still managed to hit it home, and it made all those scenes at the very end of the episode seem that much more important. So we're getting this much closer, guys, to the end of the Naruto Shippuden anime series. They just released some episode titles, and it is only a matter of time before we get to the end of this series, and I'm so damned excited to see what they're going to do with it. The animation and the artwork quality on the last couple of episodes has been significantly better than what we've seen from some of the previous episodes, and especially from the filler. I'm hoping once we get to the big ultimate battles of the final part of the series, though, that they just go completely all out. Like, I want this shit to look like a Naruto movie. I want the final battles of the series to completely blow me away, and I really hope that they're going to do that. But until then, let's just take it for what it is. Let's try to enjoy this ride and enjoy it before we get to the very end of Naruto Shippuden. So there it is. That's my thoughts on this week's episode. 4 out of 5 for me. But if any of you did watch this week's episode of Naruto Shippuden, why don't you tell me what you thought about it in the comments section below. Did you have a favorite scene from this week? Whether it was a flashback scene or maybe even a cool action scene like Naruto versus Kaguya? Please tell me about it in the comments section. And make sure to also tell me what you want to see from the epic finale of Naruto Shippuden. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it a lot. Some great ways to help support Super Kami Guru 9000 is to pick up your nearest shuriken and throw it right at that like button. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. That way you'll be able to see all of our latest Naruto, anime, and manga reviews. That is right. Thank you guys again for watching, and as always, stay dandy, baby.